Hi, I'm Apron Thrift Girl. I'm not wearing an apron today, but I am here to talk about thrifting, my favorite subject in the world. Some of you may know me from my blog, apronthriftgirl.typepad.com. Others may be finding me for the first time. I am sometimes been known as the Queen of Thrifting, or Thrift Queen, although a few other people on the internet carry that same title, so I hope they don't mind sharing it, but a lot of my friends and acquaintances have called me that for quite a few years now. I'm going to talk about thrifting here on this video, and today's topic is the top 7 myths about thrifting debunked. I'm going to read the 7 to you, and then I'm going to talk about each one. The first is thrift stores are in the dingy part of town. Number 2, thrifted clothing are dirty. 3, your friends will find out your clothing were purchased secondhand. 4, thrifted clothing are worn out. 5, dishes never match. 6, you have to be poor to shop there. And 7, thrifting is just plain uncool. Now, I'm going to go through each one of them. If you have any questions about anything that I'm saying here, please go to my website, which is apronthriftgirl.com, and you can leave comments. And if you have any questions, you can also leave a question for Ask Thrift Girl, which is one of the pages there on my website. So, thrift stores are in the dingy part of town. Not always the case. In fact, around my area in the greater Seattle area, they're actually building new buildings from the foundation upwards to have a thrift store, and usually it's Goodwill. It's one of the more branded names rather than the small thrift stores. Personally, I prefer the dingy thrift stores because usually the prices are lower. You can find more vintage items, and they don't usually research the items, where Goodwill and Value Village are selling online and doing a lot more of their research. So it's very harder to find the really cool items that you're really proud about. Number 2, thrift clothes are dirty. This is very rare that you would find a dirty piece of clothing. For one, if you look at your own situation, what do? You go through your closet after they've been washed, and you think, oh, I'm going to get rid of some clothing. So you go through each hanger, each drawer, and you make a pile, and then you put it in a bag and you give it away. You don't really just wear something and think, okay, I don't want this anymore. Oh, forget about the spaghetti stain. You wash it, you put it in a bag, and you send it to the thrift store. You will find the odd stain, usually at the smaller stores, maybe people that aren't as good about quality, but I find, especially in the Goodwills, Value Village, there are very few stained clothing these days. Number 3, your friends will find out your clothing are secondhand. You can breathe a sigh of relief because used clothing doesn't normally have a neon sign pointing to it that says used. In fact, most people won't even know your clothes are secondhand. I'm more of a thrift bragger. People will say, oh, wow, I love your pants, or I love your jacket. Where'd you get it? And I say, well, I got it at a thrift store for $3, or I got it at a yard sale. I'm usually one that just likes sharing where I got things. Number 4, thrifted clothing are worn out. Now this depends on where you thrift. Again, it depends on what thrift store. Some thrift stores will have higher quality than others, especially depending on where they're located. Other stores might have less quality, but it all depends on what you're looking for. I generally find most of the clothing are in very, very good condition. They usually weed out the poor condition clothing. Of course, an exception will be at Goodwill Outlet. You'll usually find stained, worn-out clothes, but sometimes I buy those and I use them for crafts or to reuse them for something else. Number 5, dishes never match. Well, you totally have me on this one. A lot of times they don't match, but that's part of the joy of thrifting. You can have mismatched glasses, mismatched silverware. Like yesterday, the day before, I went to our local thrift store and I found 11 glasses that totally matched. We're going to match my Franciscan autumn leaves dishes perfectly. And I don't normally have 12 people over, so 11 will be fine. But it's part of the joy of thrifting is finding mix-match items. You just have to kind of go with it. Number 6, you have to be poor to thrift there. You have to be poor to shop there. I myself I myself have shopped at thrift stores all my life. From the time I was a baby to my teen years to when I was in college. I've shopped at them on all different incomes, and I've never not felt welcomed. It's nice because the more money you have, the more you can buy, but definitely I've seen all walks of income shop at thrift stores, and they're always been welcome to everyone. Number 7, thrifting is uncool. Well, as everyone knows, thrifting is very cool these days. I mean, it's everywhere. Buying vintage is very popular among all the magazines, among the bloggers. You just have to look at the store Buffalo Exchange to know how cool thrifting is. It's finally made it. We don't have to hide about it anymore, and we can really be proud. So those are the 7 myths I hope I've debunked for you. Again, if you have any questions, please go to my website and let me know what you think. Thanks very much.